I never imagined I'd be sharing a story like this. After 37 years, what I thought was a joyful, solid marriage, my world collapsed in a way I couldn't have foreseen. If you're reading this, brace yourself. My tale might leave you as stunned as it left me. My wife, Laura, and I married young, in our early 20s. Together, we crafted a life, a home, two amazing children, and a treasure trove of memories. I believed I knew her better than anyone, my anchor, my confidant, the love of my life. Or so I thought. That's why this story is so painful to recount. It began one evening after a simple dinner, one of those quiet moments you grow to treasure after years together. Laura seemed off all day, but I didn't push her. I assumed she was just tired or maybe irritated about something minor. After we ate, she insisted we sit in the living room, which was out of character. Usually, she'd be tidying up the kitchen, chatting about her day, or reminding me of weekend chores. But this time, she sat opposite me, her hands fidgeting nervously. "David," she said, her voice quiet but tense. "I need to talk to you." My stomach tightened. Her tone wasn't light. It was heavy, almost foreboding. I tried to stay composed, pushing down the unease rising within me. "What's wrong?" I asked, leaning closer. She paused, staring at her lap before meeting my gaze. "There's something I've kept from you for a long time," she said. Her words hit me like a jolt. Laura wasn't one for secrets, or so I believed. We'd always valued honesty. What could she possibly have hidden after all these years? "You're worrying me, Laura," I said, trying to lighten the moment, though my pulse quickened. "What's going on?" She took a deep breath, avoiding my eyes as if the words were too heavy to say while looking at me. "Do you remember our old neighbor, Tom?" I froze, thrown by the sudden mention of someone from years ago. Tom was our neighbor when we first bought our house. A friendly guy, always courteous, always smiling. I hadn't thought of him in decades. "Yeah, I remember him," I said cautiously. "What about him?" Laura's hands shook as she clasped them tightly, her voice unsteady. "There's something I never told you about him." A cold dread settled in my chest. The room grew still, as if the air itself was waiting. I couldn't speak, just stared, urging her to go on. Then she said it. "Back then, when you were working late so often, Tom and we had an affair." Her words crashed over me like a wave, ringing in my ears. At first, I thought I'd misheard. I shook my head, trying to clear the haze clouding my mind. "What?" I managed, my voice barely audible. Tears welled in Laura's eyes, but she held my gaze. "I'm so sorry, David. It was so long ago, and I've regretted it every day since, but I can't keep it from you anymore." I sat there, paralyzed, my thoughts spiraling but unable to form a clear response. An affair? With Tom? All those years ago. How could she hide this for so long, and why confess now? I wanted to shout, to demand answers, but I was rooted to the spot, my world, the life we built, crumbling around me, and that was just the start. I sat frozen, Laura's confession echoing in my head. We had an affair. After 37 years of marriage, this was the moment she chose to reveal it. Decades of trust, loyalty, and love shattered in a heartbeat. My body felt numb, but my mind raced with questions I couldn't yet voice. Finally, I broke the silence, my tone cold, unfamiliar even to myself. "Why now, Laura? Why tell me this after all these years? What made tonight the night?" She wiped her eyes, hands trembling. "I couldn't hold it in anymore, David. It's been eating me up inside. You deserve the truth, and I couldn't live with the guilt any longer." Guilt. That's what this was about. Her guilt. Anger surged within me. She wasn't confessing out of love or respect. She was unburdening herself, dropping this bombshell on me. I stood, unable to stay still, pacing the room, my fists clenching and unclenching as I tried to contain my emotions. Questions swirled. Why did she do it? How long did it last? Did anyone else know? But one question burned brighter than the rest. "Did you love him?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Laura flinched, as if my words struck her. She shook her head quickly. "No, David, I didn't. It was a mistake. I was lonely, and you were working so much. It wasn't love. It was foolish and selfish." I turned to face her, my anger boiling over. "A mistake? You don't accidentally fall into someone's bed. Laura, don't call it a mistake. You made a choice." Her tears flowed freely, but I wasn't softened by them. Not this time. I didn't care about her feelings in that moment. I wanted answers. "How long?" I demanded, my voice sharp. She hesitated, staring at the floor. "A few months," she admitted softly. "A few months." I repeated, incredulous. "And all that time, you came home, looked me in the eye, and acted like everything was fine?" She nodded, her sobs choking her words. "I hated myself for it, David. I did. And after it ended, I swore I'd never hurt you like that again. I've been faithful ever since, I swear." Her promises rang hollow. How could I trust anything she said now? The trust we built over nearly 4 decades was gone, replaced by an aching void. I needed to escape, to clear my head. The room felt suffocating. Grabbing my coat, I headed for the door. Where are you going? Laura asked, panic in her voice. I don't know, I said flatly, but I can't stay here. I stepped into the cold night, my feet moving without direction through our quiet neighborhood. Memories flooded in, unwanted, relentless. I thought of the day we bought our house, small and in need of work, but Laura loved it instantly. We spent years making it ours, painting, gardening, filling it with joy. I remembered late nights talking about our dreams, her gaze on our wedding day, like I was her whole world. Now it all felt like a lie. My walk led me to the park, where we used to take the kids when they were young. The swing swayed in the breeze, the benches empty under dim streetlights. I sat, burying my face in my hands. What now? How do you process something like this? My phone buzzed, snapping me out of my thoughts. Laura's name flashed on the screen. I ignored it, but it buzzed again. Against my better judgment, I answered, my voice laced with bitterness. What do you want, Laura? Her voice was shaky, barely audible. Please come home, David. We need to talk. I wanted to yell that talking wouldn't fix this, but part of me, maybe the part that still loved her, needed answers. I needed to know why she betrayed me, and why she thought confessing now would help. Fine, I said, hanging up before she could reply. As I walked home, it felt like marching into a battle I wasn't prepared for. I didn't know where this would lead, but one thing was certain. My life would never be the same. When I stepped back into the house, the air was heavy. Laura sat in the living room, her eyes red and swollen. She looked like a stranger, not the woman I thought I knew. I'm here, I said, my tone sharper than intended. Talk. She flinched but nodded. David, I know I've hurt you. I can't undo what I did, but I want to explain. Explain what? I snapped, my voice rising. Explain how you betrayed me while I was working to build our life. Explain why you lied to me for decades. Her tears started again, but I wasn't swayed. I sat across from her, glaring, waiting for something that could make sense of this pain. I was lonely, she said, her voice trembling. You were always working late. I felt invisible, like I didn't matter. And Tom, he was there. He noticed me. I shook my head, disgusted. So, because you weren't getting enough attention, you thought sleeping with a neighbor was the answer? It wasn't like that, she protested. It wasn't planned. It just happened. It just happened? I mocked. You keep calling it a mistake, Laura, but mistakes don't last months. That was a choice, a series of choices. Don't insult me by pretending otherwise. She fell silent, her head bowed. For a moment, I thought she might admit there was no excuse, but then she said something that chilled me. I ended it because I found out he was seeing someone else, she whispered. My heart stopped. What? She looked up, her face pale. Tom wasn't faithful to me either. I thought I meant something to him, but I was just another fling. That's why I stopped. Her words felt like another betrayal. She hadn't ended the affair out of guilt or love for me. She stopped because Tom had moved on. The irony was gut-wrenching. So, you didn't stop because it was wrong, I said, my voice trembling with rage. You stopped because he left you. Do you realize how that sounds? She buried her face in her hands, sobbing. I was stupid, David. Selfish and stupid, and I ruined everything. Her confession offered no comfort, only fueled my anger. How many years had I believed in our perfect marriage, only to learn it was built on lies? I gave you everything, Laura, I said, my voice breaking. My loyalty, my love, my entire life. And this is how you repay me. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I'll do anything to make this right. But how could she? The damage was done. The trust we built over 37 years was shattered, replaced by an emptiness I couldn't fathom. I don't even know who you are anymore, I said, standing. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Please, David, she begged, reaching for me. Don't walk away. We can fix this. We can try counseling. I laughed bitterly. Counseling? You think a therapist can erase what you did? This isn't a rough patch, Laura. This is a betrayal of everything we built. I turned and headed for the stairs, unable to look at her. Every moment in her presence felt like a deeper wound. Where are you going? She asked, her voice trembling. To bed, I said flatly. And tomorrow, I'll figure out what comes next. Her sobs followed me up the stairs, but I didn't look back. For the first time, her tears didn't move me. The next morning, I woke to a haunting silence. Laura was in the bedroom, and for a fleeting moment, I forgot the previous night's pain. But reality hit hard as I walked downstairs and saw her at the kitchen table, eyes puffy and red. Morning, she said softly, her voice hoarse. I didn't reply, just poured coffee and sat at the table's far end, as far from her as I could. David, please, she said. We need to talk. I sighed, setting my mug down. Fine, talk. She took a deep breath, as if gathering strength. I know I can't undo what I did, but I want to make things right. I'll do whatever it takes. I love you, David. Her words felt empty. Love wasn't supposed to hurt like this. You don't get to use that word, I said coldly. Not after what you've done. She flinched but didn't argue. Instead, She pulled a piece of paper from her pocket and slid it across the table. I hesitated before picking it up. It was a handwritten letter from Tom. What is this? I asked, confused. It's a letter he sent me before he moved away, she explained. I never told you about it, but maybe it'll help you understand. I stared at the letter, torn between curiosity and dread. Did I want more details of her betrayal? But a need for closure won out. I unfolded the paper and read. The letter was brief, too brief for something that had shattered my life. The neat handwriting pulled me into a storm of emotions. Dear Laura, thank you for the time we spent together. I know what we did was wrong, and we both carry that guilt. You're an incredible woman, but I can't stay. I've met someone else and need to move forward. I hope you can too. Take care, Tom. I stared at the letter, hands trembling as I folded it. Anger, betrayal, and a strange sadness churned within me. This is it. I asked, my voice flat. This is the man you threw our marriage away for? Someone who couldn't even apologize properly? Laura looked down, unable to meet my eyes. I wasn't thinking clearly, David. I was foolish and vulnerable, and I let myself believe he cared about me. You believed he cared? I said, my voice rising. What about me, Laura? Did you even think about me, or was I just an afterthought? She looked up, tears streaming down her face. I thought about you every day. That's why I ended it. I realized what I'd done, and I couldn't bear losing you. You ended it because he left you. I snapped. Don't rewrite history. You stopped because he moved on, not to save our marriage. Her face crumpled, and she sobbed into her hands. But her tears didn't move me anymore. I sat by the lake, staring at the calm water as the sun rose. The peaceful scene mocked the chaos inside me. Every memory of our 37 years together replayed, now tainted by doubt and betrayal. Were there other secrets? Was Tom the only one? The thought made me sick. I thought back to our early days, so young and hopeful. Laura's smile on our wedding day, her sparkling eyes. I'd been certain she was my soulmate, the one who'd never hurt me. Now, she was the source of my deepest pain. Had she been happy with me, or had she stayed out of guilt or fear? Could I forgive her? Did I want to? Forgiveness felt impossible, a betrayal of my own pain. A memory hit me hard, a night years ago, during the time of her affair. I'd come home late from work, and Laura had been unusually warm, greeting me with dinner and a bright smile. I thought it was her being loving, but now I wondered, was she hiding her guilt? The questions were endless, the answers out of reach. I was trapped, reliving our marriage through this new, painful lens. Eventually, I stood and returned to the car. I didn't feel better, maybe didn't feel anything, but I couldn't stay there forever. I had to face her, to figure out what came next. The drive home was silent. The engines hummed the only sound. My mind raced, but I focused on the road, taking it one step at a time. Back home, the air was thick. Laura sat on the couch, knees pulled to her chest, her eyes a mix of hope and fear. David, she whispered, I'm glad you're back. I was so scared you wouldn't come home. I didn't respond right away, just took off my coat and sat in the armchair, keeping distance between us. I came back, I said finally, but I don't know if I'm staying. Her face fell, tears spilling. Please, David, don't say that. I know I've hurt you, but I'm begging you to give me a chance to make this right. I laughed bitterly. Make this right? How, Laura? Can you undo the affair? Erase the years of lies? Unless you can turn back time, I don't see how you can fix this. She flinched but said, I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I just want a chance to prove I love you, that I've always loved you. Always loved me? I repeated, shaking my head. You're saying you love me while sneaking around with another man? How does that work? She had no answer, just sobbed quietly as I stared, my heart heavy with anger and grief. For a moment, I almost pitied her, but then I remembered Tom's cold letter, and any sympathy vanished. I need time, I said, breaking the silence. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't decide now. I need to think. Take all the time you need, she said quickly, desperation in her voice. I'll do whatever it takes, David. Just please don't leave me. I didn't reply, just stood and left the room, leaving her with her guilt. Upstairs, I sat on the edge of our shared bed, staring at the floor. I didn't know what the future held, but our marriage was forever changed. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the day. Laura was downstairs, the silence between us like a wall. I didn't know if we could rebuild or if it was worth trying. All I knew was I couldn't live like this, trapped in a marriage of pain and resentment. As dawn broke, I made a decision. I needed to reclaim my life, whether that meant fighting for our marriage or walking away. I wasn't sure yet, but I'd find a way forward. I got up and packed a small bag, clothes for a few days, essentials. Downstairs, Laura sat at the kitchen table, a cold coffee in front of her. David, she said tentatively, what are you doing? I need space, I said simply. I'm going to a hotel for a few days to think. Her face crumpled, but she didn't argue. I understand, she said quietly. Just please come back. I'll be here waiting. I didn't respond, just grabbed my bag and left. unsure what lay ahead but determined to find peace, with or without her.